The United States today is facing a major education crisis. Now, these roots can be traced back to the No Child Left Behind Act. This act of legislation was put into action as an attempt to provide an equal education opportunity for all students in the United States. It demanded that it assess students' basic skills at a certain grade level to receive federal funding. While the No Child Left Behind Act attempted to create a national standard or a national level of achievement, it failed to create a standard for all schools in the United States, and thus Common Core was created. Now, throughout this video, I'll discuss the various problems that Common Core sort of brought about. One of these first problems is the fact that Common Core is too curriculum-based. While having standards is a good thing, having the curriculum restricts the amount of teaching that you can do and the creativity in teaching. For instance, not everyone can learn, or not everyone learns in a certain way, so it doesn't really make sense to have everybody use the same curriculum. Now, not only is it curriculum based and teaching to the test, a lot of schools around the United States are cutting out their arts programs, or even subjects that don't even have to do, that are educational but don't have anything to do with the test. And this is a very negative effect that it's having on all schools in general. Another problem with the Common Core is the disposing of experienced teachers and their knowledge of the craft. A lot of schools are removing teachers in good positions because they choose not to follow the standards that necessarily the state sets in place for them. Another problem with Common Core is the extent in which teachers need to be properly trained in order to implement the new curriculum. In a study shown by Robert D. Atkinson, only 8% of the standard deviation of standardized test scores could be attributed to a teacher having a master's degree in education in science or math. This study can contribute to an argument superior training does not always lead to a better education. Over 57% of teachers who are trained in Common Core don't feel comfortable after they've been actually properly trained for it. So we're sending in teachers that don't necessarily feel prepared and feel ready to teach the curriculum that the state sets for them. While Common Core often is portrayed in a bad light in the media and the news, it does have its advantages. For instance, under Common Core, gifted learning programs are supplemented with the content. For instance, a subject like language arts were only covered on the surface level. For example, a teacher might make students read one of William Shakespeare's works, but not necessarily explain the importance of it. So, with the new Common Core, it seeks to apply these sort of abstract ideas and put them in a concrete, real-world context. Not only does Common Core supplement gifted learning programs, Common Core succeeds in creating higher levels of thinking by pushing students to the limit of what they can achieve. This means the content is exponentially more difficult than previous requirements put into place by state's education system. And by creating these difficult standards and standardizing this education, Common Core has raised the bar for schools across the United States to promote higher learning, which in turn can lead to an increase in yields of higher scores, pushing the United States higher into international education ranking, which the Common Core was meant to do in the first place. If America continues to pursue Common Core as its sole means of reform, no one can be sure of the consequences to come. However, Common Core has both positive and negative qualities, and because there will never be a perfect solution, Common Core is the best bet the United States currently has at a chance to change the system. Differing values among scholars have led to various opinions on Common Core. Advocates for the Common Core focus on supplementing for gifted learning programs and creating a higher standard for education, while detractors look to the over-politicization, eradication of creative methods for teaching, and educating students on skills they will only need for Common Core tests. Even with both sides on opposite ends of the spectrum, an argument they both can agree on is Common Core is a new foreseeable future in education reform. And while Common Core does have its negatives, the only way America can progress in the education reform is if the country works together, and then and only then will we see a change.